Hello and welcome everyone to the Friday, July 26th edition of the SIG ContribEx Contributor Comms Subproject Team Meeting. As usual, a reminder that we operate under a code of conduct, which essentially says to be respectful of your fellow speakers and attendees and generally be excellent to each other. We like to offer an opportunity here at the beginning of the call for anyone on the call to introduce themselves if you'd like to, totally optional. I will kick things off. Hi, I'm Caslin Fields, and I am a co-chair of the Special Interest Group for Contributor Experience, which is the parent group of this sub-project. This sub-project is the Contributor Comms group, and our mission is to make sure that contributors within Kubernetes understand kind of what's going on in the project, and also to some degree to make sure that folks outside of the Kubernetes community know about the awesome work that contributors are doing. And to that end, we run a variety of social media accounts. We do a lot of blog posts, and we have a variety of other projects. Would anyone else like to? Oh, and my pronouns are she, her. Would anyone else like to introduce themselves?
I think Opit was going next, so I can go ahead. Hello everyone, my name is Nitish, and I have previously been an LFX mentee with the Kubernetes release engineering team. I was also involved in the ContribEx comms group. I'm also one of the CNCF ambassadors and really excited to join this call so far. Yeah.
Welcome back. We're glad to have you. Would anyone else like to introduce themselves? Totally optional.
Yeah. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Nitish. I'm Akansha, and I'm currently working as a developer relations at Empathy Ops. So I currently work with Marino. Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm one of the new CNCF ambassadors as well, and I thought of starting my open source journey. So I got involved with ContribEx comms like LWKD. So I did my first contribution like last week, and I'm thinking to be active, like doing more contributions and learning more about OSS and Kubernetes and everything with you all. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Welcome. I'm also in DevRel at Google.
Oh
And
yeah,
I know Marino. Yeah.
Yeah, so I am joining this meeting after 2 weeks. Also, I am here to write some blogs and stuff, and I am being part of the conference for over a year now. So yeah, really excited to join.
Welcome, Arpit. You kind of cut off there for a minute, Akansha. I think you were still talking, but you muted. This is a very casual call, so feel free to pop in at any time. But for now, anyone else want to introduce themselves? I'll leave that open while I go to share my screen. I used to share my screen during these meetings, and I've recently picked that back up. I'm liking it. Feedback always welcome. Nope, we don't need that. Oh, nope. There we go. And so I've got this. Let me make it bigger. Got a good size? Folks like that? Cool. I'm gonna
Looks
put in one
right.
thing here. Nice. Thank you. And one more opening item before I get into the agenda. Would anyone be up for taking notes today? Totally optional. Your job as note taker would be to record any important parts of the conversation that goes on live so that anyone who missed the meeting can check out that stuff in the notes. We do also have a board that we go through a little bit later, and you would not have to take notes during that section. So just the new items and updates, big wins. While we discuss those items, we would need some help taking the notes. if there are no volunteers, I'll take care of it myself, but
Oh, I
opportunities
can do
open.
it. Yeah, I just need to find that repo, the
Oh,
blog. Yeah.
let me grab the link to the notes for you. Good point. That was totally reasonable, Arpit. Cool. Oh, thank you, Nitish, as well. So, got a couple of links to the notes there in the chat. I have put one item in the new items. If you have any, if you've noticed on like Slack or anywhere, any new items that we need to go over, please go ahead and put those in. Also, any updates and big wins that you want to call out, please put those in. And we'll go ahead and get started with the agenda. All right. Oh, let me put down that you're the note taker. Oh. If I can type. Thank you for volunteering. We appreciate it. And it's really kind of a group effort, so don't be surprised when I can't help myself and jump in and write something, but just do your best. The goal is that we have notes for people to read afterwards. All right. Let's start off then with new items. And I have one new item that I wanted to bring up, which is election comms. Thank you very much, Arpit, for bringing up election comms a couple of weeks ago in this meeting. So the Kubernetes community holds a steering election once a year. Our steering committee is 7 members, so every other year, 3 of them are up for re-election, and then the other year it's 4. They're staggered like that. So there's always an election every year. And the past couple of years, I have been an election officer. So the election officers are responsible for setting the schedule for the election, and like generally organizing the election. And so they need a lot of help with comms. I'm not an election officer this time, but none of the election officers are a part of our group. And of course, they're going to need some help with comms. So the documented path for them is to designate a comms liaison for them to work with to make sure that we're getting communications out to all of the contributor community about the election. So I was asked about that by one of the election officers this week. They were looking for who to put down on the GitHub repo as the election comms liaison. So I suggested maybe Arpit, would you like to be the liaison? Your job would be to interface with them. You've done this once before, so you know kind of the comms that are needed. So you can advise them on what comms are needed and help make sure that those get done. You can assign those to us, other members of the comms project, if you would like.
I can do that.
Cool. So I wanted to check with you before I confirmed with them that you are the name that they should put in there. And of course, I'll help you out as like an emeritus mentor. And that should be a good project for you. I'm excited about it. So election comms will include things for the benefit of everyone, like a lot of reminders to the contributor community about nominations being open, about voting being open. Basically, the process is like nominations will be open. There's some rules around like the amount of support that you have to have in order to become a candidate. There's also rules around what you can and can't do to campaign. So the election officers are also kind of the arbiters of trying to make sure that folks follow the process correctly. There was a change a couple of years ago to the process. It used to be that folks would have to put their endorsements on an email thread, and now they need to not do that. So we always have trouble with that. But that's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is just to make sure that the notifications go out when folks are being nominated or nominating themselves. And also, of course, all of the reminders that if you are an org member, you are eligible to vote. And so you should review the candidate information and cast your votes because that's important. And also notifications about like how the election works, how the tool works, We do like a ranked choice voting kind of thing via a tool that was custom made for us by some of our contributors, which also really needs some help. I forgot which language it's written in, but we discuss it periodically on SIG ContribEx. If you have programming experience, I can connect you with those folks and you want to help with that. Yeah, there's a variety of random information about elections. Any questions? Oh, and the election will take place in like September, October, probably. They're still figuring out the schedule, I think. That should be ready in the next week or two. And so that'll probably be our first comms, is something going out telling everybody, here's when the election is happening. Here's the things that you need to do. And there's a GitHub repo for all of the election information. I'll see if I can find that for the notes. Any other new items that we need to discuss? All right. Here's one GitHub repo. I think there's another one as well, which there are links to in there. So it's a start. Any other new items or questions, comments on elections? Cool. I have prattled on about that long enough then. Let's move on to updates and big wins. It looks like Federico, you have one to talk about?
Yeah. I mean, it's the SIG nodes spotlight was published last week.
Yay!
Always good to have one out. This one was by Arpit.
Congratulations, Arpit. Is this your first spotlight that's been published? He's unmuted, but don't hear him.
I think
might.
SIG CLI was Arpit's as well, at least.
Nice. So congratulations, Arpit, on your second spotlight. I believe you already have org membership, right? I think so. If not, we need to make sure that you're getting org membership.
Yeah, I had org membership and UNPS are the sponsors. So thank you very much for that.
Of course. How was the SIG node spotlight? Anything you want to say about it?
No, but it was quite different from the other one because I had interviewed around 6 people. Sorry, I had interviewed around 3 people for the first time. The last one was with the single co-chair. So yeah.
Nice. Good work coordinating that. The more people involved, the harder it can be to get those done. So impressive. Thank you very much for your work on that. Wonderful to see another spotlight getting done. Are there any other updates or big wins that folks want to call out before we go into the board? All right, I think we're good to pop into the board then. And like I said earlier, this is a very casual call. If at any point you have anything that you want to discuss or anything you want to ask, do feel free either in the chat or vocally. And thank you, Nitish. Sorry I missed that. For adding the issue for setting up the election officers. That is relevant. Need to find the repo that went into. I think it's a different one from the one that I linked, but I think it's linked in the one that I linked. So issue election officers. Oh, thank you for that. All right, now we'll pop into that board. All right, I'll post this link in the chat as well. So this is our board for tracking tasks that we're working on. We'll start off in the ready for review column, then we'll go over in progress items, then blocked and waiting, and finally to do if we get that far, which maybe we actually will today. We'll see. So starting off in the ready for review column, how's the shadowing guide going, Federico? I know you had made some updates last week.
Yeah, I think that there's nothing else there except it being merged. I mean, likely there's an approve missing. I don't think there are more comments.
It's already approved and LGTM'd. It's just got a hold on it because it already had both of those labels before
But
everybody had reviewed.
Didn't you use unholds last time?
Oh yeah, you're right, I did. So what's going on here? Do I need to approve it? I'm gonna approve it and see if that does anything. I don't think I need to though. Pending needs, oh, it needs an LGTM label. Apparently whoever gave it an LGTM, which was probably
Maybe
me.
there was
Yeah.
changes that rolled back the LGTM.
Yeah, maybe. I'll go ahead and give it an LGTM, but it has the label, right? No, I guess, yeah. I guess since you made changes, it removed the label. I'm gonna go ahead and put the LGTM back on it. Good catch. Thank you. Cool.
That's
So
fine.
now that should go. Should have gone last week, but didn't notice that. Dealing with GitHub, half the challenge. Alrighty. So in a few minutes that should go. Wonderful. So that'll change to merged here in the task board. So keep an eye out for that and then move it. Is it already attached to your issue as well? Yes. So the issue should be marked as completed when that's done as well, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Next one is the SIG API machinery article, which is also you.
It is, and that one is actually just missing. Everything is done, everything is reviewed. It was ready to be published last week, but it somehow missed the right window in terms of the LGTM and etc. Tim already did the approval. It was on hold. So I need to redo the publication date for next week or so, because there's yeah.
Unfortunate. Sorry that happened. Looks like it's missing an approve.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just bump the publication date for next week. There's nothing. So I had already pinged SIG docs for the reviews, so they eventually went there, and I mean you see the comments, but I mean it was just a processual glitch, I would say. No, I'll change the publication date for next week, and I'm sure that things will pick up this time.
It says that it's missing an approved label. I'm going to go ahead and add an LGTM because I had reviewed earlier and it looks like I never actually LGTM'd after you
that could be it as well.
those.
But
Yeah.
no, don't.
Well,
but I don't know. No need, because publication date has passed.
Yeah.
So
it just needs the
whenever I do
approved
the
label.
edits, the label will be removed as well. So what I will do is that when I push the correct date in both repositories, I'll ping our Slack channel, just so that you or anyone else can drop by and LGTM it.
Excellent. And approve it, it looks like. Though you could
And
approve it
approve, yes.
yourself.
I'm not sure. I was never absolutely sure if those opening the PRs can actually also approve them. But even if I can, I find it not a best practice, right? Because it's sort of goes around the idea of I think a parameter. But although in this case, we've already had many eyes and hands on it. I'll do like this, and I'll ping you directly as well as in CC in the Slack channel, so that you are aware of it. So maybe that's all that is needed, and we can have it published next week or so.
Yeah, sounds good. The main rule that I keep in mind is it needs to have at least 2 pairs of eyes on it. LGTM and approver should not be the same person. But
Definitely.
especially with a case like this, I think it would be okay. But we'll sort it out in the Slack, and I could provide both of those for you.
Perfect.
Thank you for handling that. That is a thing that
Okay.
happens with blogs. And the next item is the SIG scheduling spotlight.
Which is, yeah, so the PR is there.
Arvind?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, Arvind can directly talk about it, yes.
Oh, is Arvind here?
Not
He
sure.
wasn't. Doesn't look like it.
No, so but anyway, the content there is his. I did a review round with him on the Markdown conversion, which he also did, and I did a final adjustment and opened up the PR in both our names. So he is the author there as well. I don't think he has org membership, so I tried to assign, but couldn't. But anyway, the entire commit has his ownership, so it's fine. I just have the work in progress flag there because there were a couple of links that when I read it again sounded like interesting conditions, but I'll remove it during the weekend. So and open up the website PR as well. So moving along, this one is already on the. Once they enter this stage, I guess that the hardest part is done, because this is just mechanics. It's just processual stuff going on. The difficult part is getting the actual content from people.
And it looks like it has that invalid commit message, do not merge label on it. That's an annoying one.
I'll check it then. I wasn't aware of that. Why?
Yeah, there are some rules about the commit message that, especially when you do the commit using GitHub,
but
there's no guardrails in place to keep you from creating an invalid commit message.
But I
So,
use Git CLI. I mean,
yeah,
so
I don't think
so
there's any guidelines there either. Personally, I have done it through the UI before. But yeah.
let me see what is the problem here.
Yeah, there's some
Invalid.
rule. Yeah, if you go to the
What is the commit
checks,
message?
I think, yeah, there's some rule about like
It's
dashes
the
or
final
something.
dot. It should be the final dot.
It's the period.
Yeah, the period. So give me 1 second. I mean, this
Oh,
is.
yep.
I just rebase it here and push for enforce push.
Yeah, that should work. I think. I find
I
Git
will
very
amend
frustrating.
commit enforce push.
Cool.
Mm.
This is why we review things in the meeting. Helpful for catching things.
Okay. Done. Done. Son, which one's that? Should be done. Should be okay. Let me.
It might take it a minute to sync.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. If it has trouble, we'll figure that out too. And that one has 2 reminders in the ready for review column. So that is it for our ready for review column. Assuming that, I assume that anything we would need to move into that column is in the in progress column. So we'll go over there next.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and do that while it.
Yeah,
gets
no
its
worries.
wits about
I'm
it.
on top of that one. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. So the top of the in progress column is a buffer access audit, which Chris and I need to get together and actually have a meeting to go through and do together. He said that he wouldn't be able to be on this call today, and he will also be out for our regular weekly call next week. But we're hoping to get that meeting scheduled as soon as we can. Scheduling meetings can be a challenge. So that's on us. The next item is the sensitive communications process. I almost attended the SIG security meeting this week to see if I could work with someone there on that, but I ended up having something else to do. So that continues to sit and wait. But the goal of this, in case folks are interested and haven't heard it before, is to create some guidelines around sensitive communications with the contributor community. Sensitive communications might include things like deprecations or security issues or passings of community members. Those are things that we have to communicate to the contributor community sometimes. And so just having some general guidelines around things to think about while you're writing sensitive communications, general guidelines, for example, not posting links with very specific audiences on social media where those things are public. So general guidelines like that. We're just trying to get some of those recorded. And I think we're very slow about it because we want to do a good job of it. And it's kind of a difficult thing to think through. And we definitely want a lot of folks' reviews on it. So at some point, we will get that done. We're also trying to do it in collaboration with SIG Security because of the considerations around like security issues in the project, which isn't something that we've had to communicate too terribly frequently, but we would like their input on it. If you're interested in that, just let me know. Could help us get moving on it. The next item is also guidelines for sensitive and user impacting comms. Sometimes we have things in multiple doots in our board because we'll have like an issue and a PR, and you can also just like put like a post-it note in this board. So sometimes things will have multiple items and they track things slightly differently, so that's fine. So moving on to the next item is promoting new contributor workshop. We decided, I think 2 weeks ago, that we should really give up on waiting for the integration with GitHub code spaces. I think that's what they're called. We were going to have that for our new contributor workshop content on the Kubernetes developer website, kates.dev. So we have that content up, but it's lacking the hands-on component with GitHub code spaces, and that's been in the works for years at this point, and we're giving up on that. So we really just need to do some comms sometime soon about, hey, this new contributor workshop exists. Maybe do it on a regular basis. We have been talking in the SIG ContribEx meeting about spinning up a new contributor orientation meeting on a monthly basis. So aligning this content with that might be a good idea. I'm gonna write that in the note about it real quick. This is July 25th, 2024. Sometimes it's important to put the year. Should align with the new contributor orientation monthly meetings. Cool. That's something to discuss another time. We'll move on to the next item in the in progress column, which is the steering spotlight blog, which looks like it's Mario. So we'll skip on that one.
No, it's me.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I was like, I didn't think that was Mario. Should I assign that to you?
Yeah, why not? Also, I have a doubt. Like, should we work on this after the steering election or like before the steering election? Because I have prepared the doc, but I have not sent them yet. So should we wait for it or like should I send them now?
It didn't let me assign you. Oh, because that's not your name. What is your GitHub username? Arpit? Usually it has like a drop down where I can like find you. This one doesn't. Well, that at least communicates to me that you are working on it. I think that you should do this before the steering election. Part of the goal of this is it's really to talk about just steering in general because people do not understand it. Um, I think, thank you, Arpit. I think the main job of steering, in my personal opinion, is to interface with the CNCF on behalf of the project. And people don't understand that. And so that's always an issue with the election because a lot of people put things in their bios that I know are ridiculous campaign promises because they're not the job of steering. So like even the people like running for steering don't quite understand that. So usually we try to have a AMA with the current steering members for the prospective steering members, but sometimes that doesn't happen because steering members are busy. Didn't happen last election. And also for the general public voting on the election, well, general public, the org membership group that is voting in the election, folks should understand better when that is happening. So the goal of this is to describe what steering does and give people some guidance for the election, I think. So I vote for before the election, if possible. Does that sound good to you, Arpit?
Yeah. So I guess I will send them today.
Yeah, that'd be great. And from what I hear, the steering members are kind of hard to wrangle. So be prepared to bother them regularly. I expect that most of them will need that. A couple of them will probably do it pretty quickly, but some of them will probably take some nudges. All right. Thank you for working on that, Arpit. I think it's really exciting and important, and it will pair very nicely with your election comms duties. All right. Steering Spotlight blog. SIG UI Spotlight is the next one. So SIG UI, that is Arujval. Frederico, do you have any updates on Arujval's behalf?
No, not really. I haven't
Cool.
been on particularly on top of this one, but I have no reasons to believe that there are any particular updates. I've shared the status in the comms channel as well. Although, I mean, last time I said that I would do it sooner, but I ended up actually doing it later in the same day, in the morning. But still, I don't have any updates there as well. So unless there are and I have missed them, let me go and check.
I don't see anything from Arujval on it. I see Arvind, Sandeep,
Yeah,
and
Sandeepan,
Sandipan.
yeah. Perfect.
Yep. Thank you for doing that. There's so many of these underway, theoretically. And for those who may not have noticed, Frederico has started up a new process of requesting updates on SIG Spotlight blogs regularly on a weekly cadence outside of this meeting in our Slack channel. So if you're working on a SIG Spotlight blog, please make sure that you participate in that. Even if you don't have any updates, saying no updates is helpful. And I kind of want to break for a second here before I go on to the next in progress item to mention SIG Spotlight blogs. So this is one of our evergreen projects here in this group, and it's a great option for new contributors. The goal of these is for the contributors of our group to pick a special interest group that preferably hasn't been done in the last 2 years, though there are ways around that. And you would, the way that I recommend doing it is you go to the channel for that special interest group in the Kubernetes Slack and you say, hey, I'm a member of the contributor comms group and I'm interested in writing a spotlight blog about your special interest group. Who should I interview for this blog? And usually it'll be the co-chairs of the special interest group. And then we recommend putting together the interview questions in a doc and doing the interview asynchronously. You can do it live if you want to, but we have experienced a lot of trouble with getting it from a recording into a text format so that you can actually write the blog. So we tend to find it easier just to do it asynchronously so that you already have it in a doc. And then you work with our wonderful blogging lead, Federico, to get that published both on the Kubernetes.io main blog as well as on the contributor blog at kades.dev. So it's a great opportunity for new contributors because you get to interview a different SIG and learn a little bit about how another part of the project works. And you get a very visible public contribution at the same time. So always available if you want to write a SIG Spotlight blog, just let us know either in here or in Slack. And if you need help picking out a SIG, we can make some suggestions, or you're welcome to suggest one on your own. We also have a list of SIG Spotlights in our repo that probably needs updating.
Jacqueline, I would love to take part in this one if it's an open issue. I can work on
Yeah.
a spotlight. I've experienced writing blogs and interviewing folks, so I can prepare questions and reach out to them.
That would be
So,
perfect.
yeah,
Exactly what
so
I was hoping for.
yeah, so I can take this out and you can assign it to me if there's any availability.
Yeah, so we used to have a umbrella issue for this project where but the issue with that is that there's like 50 some SIGs
Yeah.
in Kubernetes, and that's why this is a project that's always available. So having a single issue for it never really worked quite right. So we'll just create the issue when we decide which special interest group you want to do.
Like, do you have suggestions for and I'm happy to do like anyone, so there's no personal preference.
Federico, do you have opinions?
I was thinking, so there's actually that's a very good question because we're lacking something that we should add as a to-do, which is a list of the SIG that we already covered and the ones that we didn't. We do have there to-do one for SIG Kades Infra, although we did already have one. So good, but let me quickly go here.
We do have a list in our repo of ones that have been done.
Yeah, but it's not updated, and we've done a lot in the last 2 years. I'm not sure if this is updated for the last year.
Yeah, we should go ahead and do that.
Federico, sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. When you are speaking, the captions are in different language.
Yeah, Kathleen, I think you're the one that are able to force my language to English.
I don't know why it does that. Whenever I turn on the captions, it forces me to make the language English. So that's weird. Let me turn on the captions real quick and fix that. Thank you very much, Sandeep, for pointing that out.
Yeah.
I've been mostly turning on the captions in all of the meetings that I've been in lately, but I didn't do it this morning. Oops.
No worries. I'm sorry for being late. So we had a backlog grooming today. So it got late.
No worries. It happens. We do our best. I don't see the option. Let me turn off my screen sharing for a second.
Ashley, whatever you are speaking is coming perfectly fine. I think whenever Federico is speaking, that only comes in Spanish or another language.
No,
I think it's Portuguese.
I mean, I'm my
Portuguese.
Yes,
I
well,
think
it's close enough. Certainly closer than to English, but
yeah, I think it's
that's
correct.
the problem because I'm on my mobile for sound, and I do use my personal, unlike my laptop, I do use my my mobile phone in my native language. So I'm assuming that the reason why this happens when I use my phone is because Zoom picks up my language and then it mixes up. It thinks I'm speaking something or whatever.
Yeah, we just need to remember to set the language of the captions
Yes,
in the
and
meeting to English, and
I'll
that
take a
fixes
look
it.
on my side. I'll take a look on my side to see if there's anything that I can do from a client perspective to force it, even when I join. So thank you for the heads up.
Thank you. All right. And I had just gotten done explaining SIG Spotlight blogs as a project that's open to anyone. We were just discussing how we really need to update the list of SIG Spotlights that have
Yes.
been done.
If you agree, I can take a look at it during until next week, which shouldn't deter volunteers to start. So there's Kate's info there, and there's the SIG list that I will add well to the channel perhaps, because I don't have Zoom open right now. But so let API machinery, it's done. SIG apps, I don't remember as being done, as doing it.
I thought someone's working on SIG apps right now. Send a pun.
Yeah, okay, but it's not, it wasn't published. So yeah, it's done. That's out. Architecture, I'm actually actively working on that one. Out, I don't remember, but I'm awful for this because I could have written it myself 2 months ago, and I will say that I have no recollection at all of someone doing it. So I'll do a more in-depth analysis of all the spotlights that we did, and I will update the list that we have. In the meantime, I would suggest if you just pick up a SIG and search for SIG name spotlight. If there aren't any obvious Google hits, I would say that it's fair game. And ping me and I'll validate that. I will otherwise just add the missing ones in the to-do column so that anyone can start picking that up. Even as part of the shadowing thing, I think it's important to make
that's a good point.
those available.
That is a good point. You could go ahead and just make that a project for your shadows to work on.
Yeah.
I just put a link to the SIG list in
Yes.
both the notes and the chat. So feel free to check that out. I'm pretty sure Windows hasn't been done in over 2 years, so you could do that.
SIG testing as well, I think.
I think so too. There was one, but I think it's been a bit.
Yeah.
So there's a variety
Anyway.
here that could be done. I think cloud provider is actually going away. The working groups are also fair game. So you could do one of the new working groups like working group serving or working group device management. Working group long-term support would be very interesting. Alrighty. Cool. So we'll get you set up on that. Please ping us in our Slack channel, Akansha, in the SIG ContribEx comms channel. Just to say, hey, I'm interested in doing a blog.
Yep, I will do so. Thank you.
Yeah, that'll help us remember and enable us to support you asynchronously.
Cool. Thank you.
And we only have 9 minutes left. So let's enter the speed portion of the day. Next one, I believe, was SIG architecture.
Yeah. Good stuff there, actually. When it rains, it pours. So the SIG architecture enhancements content is done, and I just need to start passing it through Markdown. I will share this in the chat as well. If there's anyone that wants to assist in that Markdown stage, specifically one of the blogging shadows, but obviously not limited to them, I'll send a message. And this is, well, it's a good task as well because it's needed for every single blog. Otherwise, I'll do it myself, obviously, and then open the PR. So that's done. The SIG architecture API governance one actually also partially done. So I did a voice video call with Jordan Liggett this week, and I have the content there. So now it's turning it into the written words, which will be a bit more involved. But I mean, the hardest part, which is getting the content, it's done. So good stuff there.
Wonderful. Glad to hear it. And that's the last two on that series, right?
Yes, and then I'll try to do a capstone one with the SIG architecture shares, just to that will cover the SIG itself. But that's a bonus track.
Oh, it's about to close your umbrella issue on that.
Yes, almost done. I'll close it as they are published. So
I'm gonna /remove life cycle stale.
oh yes.
Federico,
Yep.
I just wanted to call out and applaud you for the excellent status on the Slack. You
You
that
like
was really
the
good.
updates?
Yeah, it was really good.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Appreciate the feedback.
And one more thing, so like if you are having a Zoom call with someone, you can actually download the transcript of that Zoom call, and the transcript actually becomes your content as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll thank you. And I mean, I'll do that. I think that I have so it was on a Google Meet, and well, I haven't checked it, but what I will do is that I will take a look and then I'll ping you just so they can give me advice on the best way to go about extracting the transcript. Thank you.
Can I say something on this?
I need to interrupt my presence here for 10 seconds. Be right back.
All good. And the next item on the board will be Federico as well. So there's that. I'll mention though that the SIG app spotlight, which Sundapan is running, I don't think he's on right now. No. But he put his status in the weekly sync, which was that he's awaiting responses to some of his questions. So that one's moving. And then Arpit, you've got 3 right now. Do you want to give any updates on the SIG docs spotlight and or the kubectl spotlight?
For SIG docs spotlight, the question doc is ready. I will send the SIG both the docs for steering and the SIG docs. So yeah. And, if I'm not wrong, kubectl spotlight is with Mario, I guess, or it is a separate one.
The kubectl spotlight, I think we suggested it because you had that talk about kubectl, and so it was a way for you to learn more and also share your expertise about it. Show your expertise about it, rather.
Like if I'm not wrong, there is one more blog around Kate's Infra, which Mario and me is doing. I have to contact him regarding that, like that billing one.
I see. So we've got the kubectl spotlight, and there is also the SIG-Kate's infra spotlight waiting. Are you saying that Mario is handling one of those, or that he's the interviewee for one of those? Because that makes sense.
No. I'm saying there's a different blog, if I'm not wrong. That one is regarding the Kubernetes infrastructure billing process or something. I need to talk to Mario regarding that.
We did want to do that. I don't think it's even being tracked right now, but
Yeah.
good call.
Like I did not get time to talk to Mario, but I will talk and fetch the resources for him, and then we'll update it.
That would be wonderful. Thank you. And Federico is back. So updates on the etcd article, Federico?
Yeah, so no updates there. We've pinged, no replies to our calls for updates. We'll ping again and continue to insist. It's at this stage is we're waiting for answers.
Okie dokie. Waiting for answers. And looks like you've been waiting for feedback since early June, which is a thing that
Yeah, but
happens.
so and they've provided so it takes a while, then they provide something, then we push to the next stage, then it takes a while. So there's little that we can do and just continue to insist. And the reality is that things in the end tend to appear. I guess that if even in terms of the SIG architectural ones, which some of those are actually quite long in the tooth, if we keep at it, they will eventually sprout something. So
Yep.
yeah,
That's how these blogs go. They're all about herding cats.
exactly.
Thank you for doing that work. All right, then. Just a few items left, and we only have 2 minutes left. Notify comms team when a new issue is created. This is an item to track work to. When we get an issue in GitHub, sometimes it can be hard to tell that we've gotten that. So we need nice processes for how our team gets alerted that there's something that we might need to look at, which doesn't happen very often. We've done a few things with it, but it's an ongoing thing that we're always trying to improve. So that's still there. Mario had some ideas about it, but he's been really busy. Hasn't been able to work on that lately. Guidelines for usage of Kubernetes.io Twitter. I did review those last week or the week before, but Mario has been out. But sometime very soon, we should get that available for wider review. Comms team, social media lead, shadow structure, the election comms thing will be part of that. I have some ideas about that. We'll work on that. And Sandeep, you wanted to do a deaf and hard of hearing working group plus Kubernetes blog post. Any updates on that? Just still want to do it.
I mean, not yet. I talked to them. I talked to them on Tuesday, and they said they would love it. They would love to do that. So I think maybe Kathleen, I'll reach out to you over Slack. Like I have a few ideas, and maybe then I'll reach out to you, and we will see which tracks we can pick up. Okay.
Perfect. I look forward to it. So thinking with numbers seems like they're interested. We'll work with Caslin to get things going. All right, sounds like a good plan to me. And with that, there is also the SIG security one that's blocked and waiting and those things. But we'll discuss which SIGs are open. We can come up with some that haven't been done at all or in a long time, I'm sure. And we are at time. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. Any last minute items before I turn off the recording? And I do have a meeting after this today, so I can't hang out and chat. But any last items? Wonderful. Thank you very much, Akansha, for taking notes for us today and for being interested in the SIG spotlights. We'll chat with you on Slack.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Have a
for
good weekend.
joining.
Cheers.
Bye.